Ladies and gentlemen, recently a worldwide famous American scholar suddenly became hot again because he predicted 8 years ago that one day Russia will invade Ukraine. And his prediction did come true. Russia invaded Ukraine 2 months ago. So people over the whole world call this scholar prophet. And this prophet is the chair professor of Chicago University, Mizamas. But while Mizamas got hot in the international society, he caught even more attention in Taiwan than anywhere else because Mizamas also proposed his theory of dumping Taiwan 1 year before his prophecy on Russia's invasion. But as a famous scholar in the field of international strategy, his advocation often confuses us. In the year of 2016, when Tsai Ing-wen visited the United States before Taiwan's prime election by the end of that year, Mizamas led a group of 5 scholars interviewed with Tsai Ing-wen. And in the meeting, Mizamas gave the promise to Tsai Ing-wen that the United States will for sure protect Taiwan with armed force if China attacks Taiwan. And Mizamas further elaborated his promise. He said, if United States just sit and watch China's invasion, United States will lose her credibility to all her Asian allies. So United States cannot but keep her promise to protect Taiwan. During that meeting, Mizamas also carefully clarified a rumor circulated around because he once published in the magazine National Interest an article entitled Say Goodbye to Taiwan. He explained the title of that article was not given by him, but by the editor of that magazine. And he said the editor of that magazine misunderstood him. And this mistake made him mistaken as a scholar of dumping Taiwan theory. But only if we go in Wikipedia to review the introduction of Mizamas, we can see that since 2013, Mizamas wrote many articles and books to insist that United States have to abandon Taiwan if United States calculate her own interests. And he even bring up 2 essential points to strengthen his conclusion. The first point is Taiwan in her history of centuries has been a part of China. And also for the strategic position Taiwan is situated, mainland China will never give up Taiwan. And the second point is Taiwan's distance from United States is about 30 to 40 times that of Taiwan from mainland China. So even United States is truly determined to protect Taiwan, she is still unable to mobilize enough military strength to go to West Pacific to fight this war. And if United States insists doing so, she will unavoidably be badly beaten, and for so many reasons, Taiwan's returning to China is no doubt inevitable. So, if we compare Mizamas' comments now and then, we can conclude that Mizamas' claim that some people misunderstood him as a scholar of dumping Taiwan theory is certainly a lie. And I think this guy is nobody but a man who speaks ghost language to ghosts and speaks human language to human. Actually, this is a Chinese slang which describes a man always lying, always telling different stories to different people. But if Mearsheimer's dumping Taiwan theory contradicts his protecting Taiwan theory, then which one is his real advocation? Or both of them are lies? I believe dumping Taiwan is his real advocation, and his protecting Taiwan theory is clearly a lie with specific purpose. Mearsheimer's dumping Taiwan theory is developed through reasonable and pragmatic analysis on the basis of national interest of United States. Through this analysis, he concluded that even United States really pitch in to join the war in Taiwan Strait, United States will have to pay an unaffordable price and still have no chance to win the war. But Mearsheimer's protecting Taiwan theory is nothing but a lie under United States government's instruction to please Tsai Ing-wen. Because without this promise, Taiwan would have no reason to put herself in serious danger to provoke China, and have no reason to pay high price to buy ammunition from United States. And all Taiwanese people know that the high price we pay United States is in fact not to buy weapons to protect Taiwan, but to pay protection fee to United States government. Just like a small retailer paying protection fee to the mafia gang, to the mafia gangster. So if the mafia gangster doesn't protect us, then why shall we pay such high protection fee to United States? Huh? Besides, we can easily point out that all bases Mearsheimer based on to establish his protecting Taiwan theory are actually invalid. Mearsheimer said United States will lose her credit to all her allies if United States does not protect Taiwan with armed force during mainland China's armed unification of Taiwan. But we would like to ask Mearsheimer, did the United States know her withdrawal of United States armies from Afghanistan would badly hurt her credit among all her allies? Of course. How can she deny she knew it for sure? Huh? But she still withdrew United States armies completely because she can no longer afford the cost. Also, did she know her role as a spectator in the war between Russia and Ukraine will hurt her credit among all her allies? For sure, she knew it, without doubt. But she still set aside and without joining the war. So the point is not United States credit. The point is the cost of war and the possibility of winning the war. And the whole world have witnessed so many times that the United States betrayed her allies. So all Taiwanese people should ask ourselves, is United States a dependable ally, and can we trust United States anymore? Now we learn that every time when United States cannot give her allies satisfactory promises as they deadly need them, United States government will send famous scholars to render great promises, sometimes even better than they asked for. But when the bad luck comes their way, United States government will have no responsibility to keep their promises, and United States government will just shrug their shoulder, and say, "Oh, those promises were just those scholars' personal opinions." Though we see clear contradiction between Mizamas' dumping Taiwan theory and protecting Taiwan theory, yet we still found valuable information in Mizamas' articles. For instance, Mizama considered the war between Russia and Ukraine is absolutely a big mistake committed by United States government. Because when Soviet Russia collapsed in 1991, Mizama suggested that United States should establish friendly relationship with Russia and even invite Russia to join NATO. In that case, there will be no war between Russia and Ukraine today. Mizama continued that he said his suggestion will never come true because all American ammunition companies have powerful lobbying strength to the Senate and Congress. And those ammunition companies will not allow his suggestion happen. Because once his suggestion come true, United States will not be able to sell their arms to the NATO countries anymore. So for the prosperity of American ammunition companies, United States needs enemy in this world. If there's no enemy in this world, United States will create one or two, because the existence of enemies can guarantee the prosperity of American ammunition companies. Mizama further pointed out that Americans not only have been advocating freedom and democracy, they have also been daydreaming that they can convert all other countries to free and democratic countries. But this kind of thinking is very unreal, because for every country in the process of her struggle to survive and develop, the national consciousness will always override the desire for freedom and democracy. Mizama especially objects that United States government often use intelligence agencies to manipulate other countries' politics, because history proves again and again this kind of a manipulation always brings up unrepairable negative results. Mizama was very straightforward in condemning CIA and her white glove, NED, the National Endowment for Democracy. Mizama pointed out that CIA and NED went to Ukraine to urge Ukrainians to join NATO, and this will naturally result in Russia's invasion. One day when Ukraine was completely destroyed, all Ukrainians will turn around and blame United States for pushing them to war, and then sit aside and as a spectator without joining the war to fight Russia for Ukraine. One day, all Ukrainians will realize that they were cheated and sacrificed by United States. In fact, Mizama was neither the only one and nor the first one to propose the dumping Taiwan theory. If you go on the Wikipedia and search for dumping Taiwan theory, you will see many American scholars have proposed the dumping Taiwan theory in years, and some of them did it earlier than Mizamas. And hereinafter, I will name a few of these scholars for your reference. According to Wikipedia, the first scholar to propose the dumping Taiwan theory is Paul Chien, a research fellow at John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University. Paul Chien wrote an article entitled "Save Our Economy and Ditch Taiwan." In this article, Paul Chien suggested that Taiwan recovered by China is unavoidable, and United States should negotiate with China while Taiwan still has some residual value. For instance, Paul Chien suggested that United States may trade Taiwan with China for $1.4 trillion national debt. After Paul Chien, there were 5 or 6 famous American scholars who have proposed the dumping Taiwan theory, and their thinking is similar to Paul Chien's, which is China's recovering Taiwan is inevitable historical trend, and United States should alter her strategy and abandon Taiwan or trade Taiwan to maximize United States interest. Beside above-mentioned American scholars, recently another famous scholar also proposed the dumping Taiwan theory, and this scholar is an American-born Japanese, Francis Fukuyama, who is currently a senior research fellow at Stanford University. Fukuyama made a public statement in January this year. He said when PRC unified Taiwan, United States does not have to protect Taiwan because Taiwanese do not have the determination to defend themselves. And where is the evidence for him to conclude that Taiwan is not determined to defend herself? Well, his evidence is that Taiwan has never bought enough ammunition from the United States to defend herself. Frankly, I really looked down on Fukuyama when I read his commentary. I can't believe that a world-class scholar making such low-class nonsense. And I want to ask Fukuyama, how much ammunition should Taiwan buy to be able to resist mainland China? These great American scholars are nothing but jackals of United States government. They use their knowledge to help United States government to shirk their responsibility as an international leader. So when we found so many American scholars discussing and advocating dumping Taiwan theory, we can tell easily that most American scholars view Taiwan as a burden to United States. They think Taiwan means very little residual value to United States. And while we rarely see American scholars discussing or advocating protecting Taiwan theory, we can clearly conclude that the promise by United States government to protect Taiwan is absolutely a lie. I think all Taiwanese should wake up from the illusion that United States government created for us. Well, that'll be all for today. Thank you very much.